Sky is so high, if you don't know how to fly, aim feel easier to make you fly. Sky is so high, if you don't know how to fly, aim feel easier to make you fly. Here we go.
Okay, so in the last lecture we have seen cooperative societies.
Here we go.
Okay, and what types of cooperative societies have. Public utilities is a general name for those industries or services such as the supply of gas, water, electricity, urban passenger transport, etc., which are clothed with public interest. So, what is public utilities? Public utilities are basically we have seen under government recognition, just like buses, local trains, even metros are in government under. So we can say it public utility. It is more for public uses and for public advantages. It is necessary for them to to provide more and more needs and wants of customers. So they are only looking for people needs and wants. Next is economic. If you have doubts, you can ask me. Okay, you can pinch me. I am explaining it to you in very short words because it is the concept you have to understand. Next is economic characteristics of public utilities. Public utilities possess certain special characteristics feature which distinguish them from non-utility industries, but it should be remembered that strict differentiation is not possible, nor it is attempted, for sometimes the non-utility industries seem to have all or nearly all the economic characteristics of public utilities. What is intended here to show that a public utility usually possesses this characteristics. So there are some public utilities also and private utilities. So public utilities are mainly focused on customer needs and wants and their delightness, and private utilities are morely profit motive organizations. So what they need in their public utilities? The first is necessity. Second is monopoly or tendency to monopoly or inadequate competition. We all have seen in our 11th and 12th standards there are two types of mostly there are two types of competition. First is pure competition and second is perfect competition. In pure competition we have seen large number of buyers but limited number of sellers, and in perfect competition there are large number of buyers also and large number of sellers also. And third one was the monopoly was the single seller in the market. He enjoy all his overrides on the business and organization, so he don't have to worry about anything. So public utilities here, it is first necessity because we all need necessity in our daily lives, human needs and wants. There are many things are coming in our day to day life, like we have traveled by public buses, we have traveled by local trains. So there are many more things also in our daily lives. We have go to retail store, our basic necessities goods and services we have to acquire. Second is monopoly. Monopoly is all about the retail store. Retail store is he is enjoying all his rights. He can decide his own prices for his product. If you don't want to give you, he'll increase the price. No, I don't want to give you it this at that price. I want to sell it only on this price. So it's his monopoly because he is enjoying his business by solely. He's the sole trader basically. Regulations and franchises all about regulation. When government is taking control about the public utilities, just like the local trains, it's under government, so it can be they have to make use of their machinery, local trains for the public uses. It's more of how public can use it more and more, and how it will help to the country's economy, our GDP rate, our repo rate. Repo rate is a rate of purchase return, right? Next is franchises. We have they can open many franchises also in that things. So we can see metro train, monorails. There are coming bullet trains also. So they have making their own monopoly types franchises. So it is also from under control. So they have to be regulations with that things. Next is cost and demand. Public utility industries have large fixed investment in plant and equipments and low rate of capital turnover. So public utility industries, there are more investment because it involves with the governments also and with the publics also. So just because it is public concern there, so they have to maintain their cost with their expenses also and their machineries also. So it can be like they have to reduce their cost because it is in more demand. When demand falls, prices when demand falls, price also falls. It is law of demand. We have learned it. Okay, right? No, in economics, and it is all in our 11th 12th standards economics subjects, right? So when price increase, supply also increase. It is law of supply. So next is right and duties of public utilities. So what are their rights and duties? First of all, the first duty is to serve all who apply for services regardless for race, economic and social status. So there should not be partiality between the people who are applying for their utilities because we don't have any restriction for the things that we can't go to the bus, we can't go to the local train, we can't go to this hospital. There are public hospitals, private hospitals. So public hospitals considers in public utilities areas, right? So they can't restrict anyone because of their race, their casteism, their status. It can be free for all of them. There is no difference making in the people's status. Next is rights. It is only fair that it utilities are bound to perform these duties. They should enjoy certain special rights not common to other business. Their first right is to charge a reasonable rate. A reasonable rate is one that under prudent and economical management. So what are their rights? Rights are their yeah, their rights are basically they have to be purchase the goods and services at a reasonable price because they have to be democratic with their products also, and people who are regularly buying such things, they are loyal to their products, so they are the loyal purchaser or loyal buyer in their business or organization. So they have to respect their loyalties and honesty in the organization. Next is public enterprises. There is a topic government in business, basis of government ownership. So what is the government's rights in the business and ownership in the private things? Since the greatest happiness of the greatest number failed to materialize under free enterprise and more control were not found and mere controls were not found sufficient to meet the needs of economic and social justice, the state was obliged to step in as the biggest entrepreneur. So basically, government ownership is all about the state consideration. When we are going with the state wise, so we have to maintain the distance between state and central government. So whenever state government is taking under control with the business and organization, they have to maintain their rapport with that organization to maintain the legally activities also. And when central government involved with that organization, central government have to take care of their legal activities, whatever it is democratic or speculators. So it can be statutory institutions also, it can be corporate bodies. Statutory institutions are like BMCs, corporate bodies are corporate houses, and merely private limited companies. Okay. Case for public ownership or nationalization. Some of the more important advantages of public ownership or nationalizations are, so more important advantage of public ownership and or nationalization. What is nationalization? Nationalization is all about our country's GDP rate, our economic, how it is going, how it is falling for the GDP in worldwide, because our national income is depend of per capita income. Per capita income is the expenses we have spent on the per person in a country, so that is our per capita income, and that is count on national income so it is counted by per capita income. First is elimination of private monopolies. Public ownership or enterprises breaks private monopolies and takes away their power to exploit the public to their own advantage and at the cost of the happiness of the masses. So elimination of private monopolies. So what is important is we have to eliminate private monopolies so we can take our public utilities under the government and people can use more and more use of this, so it will be reduce the cost of products, goods and services, any hospitality sector, it can be environmental sector, right? It can be related to the education also. There are many schemes are also going on. Next is production for use and not for profit. In private enterprises, profit motive is the prime mover of the business and individual urge to maximize profit, production for use and not for profit. So in a private enterprises, it can be only profit motive. Private limited companies only focus on their profit motive achievement, so they don't want to worry about people needs, basic necessities, right? And public utilities is different from that, so it can be more focus on public utilities, happiness of them, and what kind of service government should provide to the customers, how people can enjoy their rides in a happy way. So it is more important to the delightness of customers, right? Next is saving of consumer interest. Since the supreme aim of the state is to serve the people in the best possible way. So, saving consumer interest, how we can involve our customers with our products. So, it is depend on our product quality, our packaging, whatever it is profits earn, how it is giving dividend and interest to the customers. So, it is all about make them involved with your activities day to day basis or any other activities which is regarding to them, and it gives them happiness with their human needs and wants. Next is balanced production and equitable distribution. Public enterprises under the control of single authority can conveniently arrange for balanced production of goods which are most needed by the people. The surplus earned by public enterprises can be used for the well being of the people. The profits from private industries go to a few people, thus widening the disparity of income between the haves and have nots. The public enterprise, on the other hand, narrows the gap by raising the levels of the poor people. So, what is about balanced production and equitable distribution? Private utilities, private companies are more focused on profit, so they don't have to worry about the how much gap there is between the people's richness or how they are poor. But public companies can differ that gap, so they can focus on more poor things, how people are managing their day to day activities, so they can arrange the food security for them, any facilities, hospitalities, educational facilities. But private entities don't focus on that, they only focus on their motto and how they can achieve more and more profits, right? Next is economy of operation. Public ownership is conducive to greater coordination among the various industries brought under state control and ensure their harmonious functioning. This generates economies of unified control and large scale operation. So, economic of operation. So, whenever public company is creating something new or innovative in the market, it is all depend upon the how balance they are taking with their with their peoples and how it is going on with the procedure. So if its functioning is right at the right time, so it never harm to the general public, right? So it have to be state of control with their publics. Next is balanced regional development. Although the government exercises control with regard to regional distribution of industry in the private sector, the task of balanced regional distribution becomes simpler when industries are set up by the state itself. Before locating a new plant, the government considers the economic as well as social consequences and pays special attention to balanced development of different parts of the country. So balance regional development. Whenever it comes to regional development, government have to take under control that land. First of all, how this region is going well, how we can produce more and more things in this region, how we can focus more on more people, how we can help them, how we can get them their needs, daily basis necessities things, right? So it is more focus on balanced regional development. They have to develop their things with their activities and process by process, so their procedure should be one by one step, so they cannot go to from 1 to directly 10. They have to follow step by step, whatever it is. It can be legal activities, it can be social succession, it can be public utilities, it can be their daily basis needs, and their needs, wants, what they want in their area, what product quality they want, right? Next is long-term investment can be planned. A public enterprise can plan its investment over a long period of time and maintain its stability, whatever may temporarily happen to the demand for goods. In times of depression, a privately owned industry will curtail production and investment because in that way it minimizes its risk of incurring losses under the stress of falling prices. Public enterprises under such circumstances plays a vital role in checking unemployment and underemployment. So long term investment can be planned. There can be investment whatever it is private company or public company. Just wait, okay? Sorry. Huh. So long term investment plan. Whenever it comes to public company is always taking their plans with the long term range. They are making plans of 10 to 12 years, 15 years, it can be 25 years, because we all have seen government projects. It is like bridge pulling, anything which is trains, locals, it's road, highways. So it is long term planning for them. But in a private entities they are focusing more and more people's motive, how they can earn more from them, how they can focus on their business and earn more profit, so they will get their interest and return. Next is furtherance of economic development. The surplus profits of public undertakings can be diverted to develop economic schemes of national importance. This has this has an indirect but welcome effect on keeping down the taxes which would be necessary otherwise for development of the country. So furtherance of economic development, how we can develop our economy, this is the most important questions, because whenever we goes with the expenses it can downwards to our economy. Whenever we are going in the profit it increases our national income. So we have to focus more on more our per capita income, how we can earn with the unique production, how we can serve the people, because it is all about for the people, with the people and to the people. This is the most important for our economy and our constitutions also. Next is nationalization aids sounds rationalization. Public ownership is one of the methods of dealing with industry in which inefficiency persists and where the private owners lack either the will or the capacity to make improvements. So it is about, sorry, nationalization, it sound rationalization. In a public company it can be like they have to focus on people, so they deal with the industry with efficiently, they have to make their work efficient in a efficient way with the public support. But private making company they don't have that inefficiency because they are focusing on profit motive, so they have to be perfect with their planning and procedure, so they can't afford their inefficiency in the business, so it can be create them for a loss in the for more time. Next is fuller employment possible. According to the Professor K.T. Shah, only under socialized production will the fullest possible employment to all adult workers in accordance with the aptitude and training of each be secured. The state owning a good number of industries can maintain a great part of its spending and investment program stable from year to year and consequently prevent violent fluctuations in employment. So fuller employment possible. Public company only focus on government jobs, mostly they are semi government and government, but private limited companies are under the private entities, so their owners and CEO they have to decide what type of legal activities they can show to their employees. So it is basically, but in private entities also, owner cannot be cannot be go with the so harshly with their employees, they have to follow legal activities and their norms with the people, because there is a law for everyone and everywhere. Just an equitable deal to labor. The state is essentially interested in giving a square deal to the workers and assisting them to raise their living standards. It will obviously not exploit the workers and it will offer just rates of wages, provide human condition of work and generally devote itself to labor welfare. Just an equitable deal to labor. So labor have to consider as a employee in their organization, whatever it is, a public utility or private entity. So whenever it comes to public entities, public sector employee enjoy all his rights with the government control, but in a private sector employees have to be focused with their organization motive, how they can earn more profit, if it's on daily basis work or any monthly basis, so they will get salary by them, and in a public company it is fixed by government, right? Till now anyone have doubt, please ask me. Yes, Shubham.
Yesterday you were saying about the shareholders.
Yes.
Then I have one doubt.
Yeah, please ask.
If you are working as employee or employer in the company,
Huh?
then do we have rights to buy the shares of the company?
Yes, you can buy the shares. There is no limitations for employee to buy the shares. You can buy the shares. Next question.
Then they also call me as a inside trading.
Sorry.
Inside trading, what is?
Inside trading is in a stock market. We are not talking about stock market. We are saying shareholders. Shareholders are, we are dealing with the shares only in a short period of time or for a short place. In a limited place, we are saying, right? So in a company, it is your employee also and their shareholder also. So you are owning them, their part of the company. It must be small part or large part, whatever you purchase from them. Internal trading is all about the stock market when we are purchasing in a bulk quantity or in a stocks. So more whenever it comes to the shares, bundle of shares are called as stocks, right? So it can be internal trading when you are purchasing in a bundle of shares.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes. Case against public ownership or nationalization. This is this is with the sorry, they are saying all these topics with the help of case studies, okay? So we have to make them understand the case studies. Case against public ownership or nationalization. The opponents of public ownership or nationalization usually base their opposition on the following limitations and shortcomings of public undertaking. So, how it is going with the public ownership and nationalization? When it comes to public ownership and nationalization, government involved with this, and they have to focus on the people happiness, right? So, first is lack of initiative and efficiency. In a public sector, we all have seen whenever we are going with the State Bank of India, the worker they are working, they are enjoying their meal, they are don't focus on their customers, they don't want to even talk about that, they are only enjoying their work in their own way, so they don't have to make any efforts for the customers, so they don't take any initiative for that, so it can be reduce the interest of customers in the banking sector, right? So people are going more for the private banks, so it can be reduction in our cost also, so our national income goes low with the rate, they are more efficient, they are less efficient because they are not focused on their work. Second is regimentation. Nationalization is said to regimentation. Under monopoly production by the state, the consumer loses his rights or selection and choice of goods. There is some truth in this argumentation. So regimentation is about the when customer is getting any product, he don't have choice for that product. He have to buy this product because it is the only product he is getting in the market. So he can't choose from any other sectors. Now we have seen at e-commerce sites, we have one product, but there are many franchises of that product, many brands of that product. But some products are they don't have any branches also. Just like State Bank of India. State Bank of India is the only thing which is Reserve Bank of India controls 100%, right? So Reserve Bank of India have all the control from government undertakings. So it can be we say like public utilities which are more less efficient with their customers. So it can be related to the loss of their customers' loyalties also. Next is political interference. There is a constant danger of undue interference in the working of public enterprises by politicians. Such interference militates against smooth and efficient working of this undertaking. So whenever it comes to politics, sometimes people hate the politicians because they are not that effectively working for the people and by the people. They are only increasing their power and their money of interest, their profit. They are making profit from public interest only. They are collecting people for their rallies, they are collecting people for their personal uses. So it can be diminishes the public interest in politics. So people don't want to involve with that political activities. So it can be more inefficient for the work, right? Open to public criticism. Public enterprises, because they are public or state owned, are always exposed to public criticism, which may not always be justified. As a result, the men who manage public enterprises develop in them unadventurous and red tapest frame of mind, which is harmful to the running of business undertakings. So, open to public criticism. When it comes to public utilities, public criticism, public can criticize the people who are involved with the politics and who are increasing their cost of production, who are increasing their services rates. So it can be diminishes their value of products, and it goes with the decrease in profits also. So company will suffer the losses, deficit in their margin, their productivity will goes to the lower and lower. So it may affects our national income somehow, right? Next is rigidity of public control. Public accountability of public enterprises is very often stretched too far, and the flexibility of private enterprise, which is essential for the successful working of an industrial or commercial undertaking, is denied to them. So, rigidity of public control. Whenever it comes to private sector, no, private sectors are more flexible in their work because they can stretch their procedure from process 1 to directly process 5. But in a private sector, they can't afford that level of flexibility. They have to be rigid. They are really rigid with their procedure. They have to follow their norms every time. They have to their fulfill their legal activities on paperwork. So they will always give you some excuses about their flexibility. Next is it's a conclusion. In judging the various arguments against public enterprise, especially with respect to inefficiency and bureaucratic management, one has to apply the standard of welfare of the community. Both public and private sector industries must be organized, managed, and operated to serve the widest interest of the community as a whole. A large business owned by a company in the private sector is bound to be as a bureaucratic as any nationalized unit, and hence nationalization on this score is not inferior to private ownership. So what we all have seen, whenever it comes to the utilities we call about the it fulfill our needs and wants, but it comes with the two topics, public and private. When public utilities are there, people are enjoying more rights. In private utilities, they are enjoying their rights, but in a limited scope of time and limited space of period. So it can be, we can say it should be managed, focused, and staff and organized by the government, but it can be controlled by the private entities, right? So there is a one thing, from the point of view in the general public, real efficiency should be judged by the application of the following criteria laid down by by Professor Sargant Florence in his book The Logic of British and American Industry. So he have noted down the some points which are affected with the public entities and private entities, which are for applicable only. First is satisfaction of man's needs and wants and spontaneous demands in order of priority rather than his artificially simulated demand. So whenever it comes to man's needs and demands, it's their priority to fulfill them with their ability to produce more with efficient work and effective manner in a effective manner in that period of time. If he cross the time of period, so it will goes with the lack of public interest. Where it is demands that are supplied at a price, fullest satisfaction of consumers at lowest margin of profit. So when demand and supplies are diminishing, we have seen law of demand. Or you have got clear with the law of demand and law of supply. First is law of demand. Law of demand, increase in demand, fall in price, increase in supply, less in price. So it can be, we can say it is a diminishes value of prices or diminishes value of the product. So they have to be that effectively working with their prices also, so consumer can enjoy their products and services in a limited period of time and over a period of time. Maximum spread of participation and satisfaction of the people, by the people, for the people. There should be coordinated use and direction of resources in the interest of the nation as a whole. When it comes to the country, there should be law equal for all of us. So it can be for the people, by the people, and of the people. So it is for public, it is making use for their needs and want of the public, and by the public because we are collecting our collecting money, government collecting money from the general public only, in a form of taxes, income tax, salary taxes, it can be tax, bad debts also, it can be from house loans, it has to be paid by interest or whatever it is form. But we all have to be paid taxes on product, taxes also is service taxes, import export charges, the governments are charging. So it all controls with the government, so it is comes with the by the people, this money are coming from by the people. That is why it's saying efficiency measured in minimum cost per given output. So we all have seen the national income is counted by the per capita income. So per capita income is all about the how much expenses and how much income a single person can earn and spend on his daily basis. So they have counted it on a national graph on a yearly basis. So it can be counted as a national income. Next is forms of organization. Public enterprise can adopt a variety of forms of organization for its administration, such as commissions, Oil and Natural Gas Commission, Khadi and Village Industries Commission, commodity boards, coffee board, tea board. Under port trust, there are Bombay and Calcutta. Departmental undertakings, there are ordnance factories, integral coach factory, railways. In a statutory corporations, it can be air corporations, central warehousing corporations, limited liability companies, Hindustan Steel Limited, heavy engineering corporation. So these are the examples. Okay, commissions, under that oil and natural gas are coming. Khadi and village industries, khadi and village industries connected with the small sector of farming industries also. So it can be sugar also. Commodity boards, coffee board, tea board, we can import export our products internationally. Port trust, it can be Bombay and Kolkata, it's an international trade. Departmental undertaking, it's ordnance factory, integral coach factory, railways, ordnance factory related with the some defense works, machineries, their products. So it is related to that. Statutory corporations, air corporations, central warehousing corporations is with our choppers, whatever we use for our defense also. Central warehousing corporation, whatever government produce for the people, it comes under central warehousing corporations. Limited liabilities company, Hindustan Steel, we already seen the Tata company's example, right? Next is heavy engineering corporation. Whatever heavy projects governments are taking control, it can be bridges, it can be pools, it can be seaways, statues. Next is among the various types cite above the most preferred forms of organization in India are departmental organization, statutory or public corporation, and government company. So departmental organizations, we have seen the defense thing, coach factory, right? Railways, shipping companies also. It's manufacturing the shippings, ships, submarines. It controls. It comes under the departmental organization. Statutory public corporation is controlling the air corporation and warehousing sector. So it can be use make use of the defense things which are used for air strikes, our we can say our rockets, air corporations related to the airlines functions. It can be government airlines, Air India, for example, warehousing corporations. Next is government company. Government companies are, we have seen all defense comes under the government, but company is called with the production only. So government company we can basically see many more things. LIC corporation, it comes under the statutory body, but it can count as a government control, right? Next is departmental organization. So the oldest form of operating public enterprises is through government department. No distinction is made between public enterprise and traditional government functions. The principal characteristics of departmental form of organization are as follows. First is the enterprise is managed by a government department with a minister at the top responsible to parliament for its operations. So when government taking control for the any objects or any organization, it may concern with that department or that organization with how it is effectively operate their projects and procedure with the normal public, right? So we have to focus on that part only. Next is the enterprise is financed by annual appropriations from a treasury, and all or major share of its revenue are paid into a treasury. So when it comes to treasury, we have seen many more things. We have got hidden treasure from temples also. So it all comes with the departmental organization. It can be a part of our country, it can be a part of our religions. So there are many religious beliefs also people following, but it's all control, it has all control of government. So it is under control with the government and connected with that government. So government should take any decision with that part of body. So whenever we find any hidden treasure in a temple or any mosque or any church, so it is comes under government activities automatically. So government can decide what type of what will they do with that treasures. It is subject to the budget accounting. No, it's happen. It do. Its permanent staff consists of civil servants, and their conditions of recruitment and services are the same as for other civil servants. So when it comes to civil services depends on IS, IPS, IRS, IFS officer. We all have seen IS officer, right? Have you seen IRS officer, Indian Revenue Service? There is Forest Service also, IFS. There is so many scope for that in a competitive way. So it can be civil servants who are basically providing their effectively and efficient work with the government. They are sharing part of their duties with the government in a day-to-day activities. So whenever we saw any activities which is controlled by government, any major decisions taken by politicians or our prime minister or chief minister, so it is connected with their IS officers, their civil servants who are involving with that work only. Okay, so whenever these are taking decisions, we have to know about their managing skills. They are all about their sectors. Some people are getting small and medium business enterprises, so they have to focus on that part of business. They have to focus on that sector of society. So it can be on state wise or country wise or district wise. So that IS officer will technically connect with the area only. So he have all the knowledge about that region, how business and corporations are going their business in that particular area. So it may help their country. So they have to suggest the people, they have to make some schemes regarding that. And what we seen in a big picture is prime minister launches this product. It's all about the hard work of that civil servants who are working behind the picture, right? As the enterprise is subdivision of department of the government, it can be sued only by following the procedure prescribed for filing suits against the government. So when it comes to subdivision of department of the government, there is divisible part for every person who is working with the government and under the government. So government working conditions are depends on how civil servants reacts with their particular region and their procedure. So they can divide their work with the regional areas. It can be regional, it can be uh, religious also, it can be perpetual also. So when it comes to society, there are many types of marketing in also there, marketing also are there. We can see e-commerce, we can see buyer to buyer selling, we can see buyer to customer, b2b selling, b2c selling, right? So that can be divisible. So next is merits of departmental organization. The principal merits of departmentally run manufacturing enterprises are: the accountability of departmental undertakings to Parliament is complete, their management being under the ministry concerned, or it assures the maximum degree of control by political responsible officials. So, when it comes to accountability with the government sector, so it can be departmental organization which is involved with the political interference. So whenever it comes with political interference, or organization diminishes its product's value, because sometimes people don't follow one person only, there are many other ideals for everyone. So everyone is following their own beliefs, their own community. So it can be harmful for the products and organization also. Next is, it provides a means of securing absolute government control. Securing absolute government control is all about the government should undertake the company 100%. They have all over the control legally activity with legal activities and norms with the company. They have to fulfill their articles, their law of abidement, whatever company is following for that, from companies issuing date to companies diffusing date. So when companies start to end, there should be legal activities with these sectors for the time of periods, right? The state can make use of these undertakings as instruments of its economic and social policies. So state can make use, like they have to control their economic and social policies with the instruments. Instruments are about the schemes, their policies, which policies are helpful for the people in a concerned way, with the how poor people can enjoy their rights, how they can enjoy the schemes over hospitality. It can be medical facility, it can be educational facility, it can be living standards, it can be living by things, necessities things, we can say, right? Next is, from the public point of view, the department organization has an advantage that if anything goes wrong, or if the public is dissatisfied with the working of an undertaking, the matter can be immediately raised in parliament. So whenever it comes with the public company is undertaken with the government, so whenever something wrong is happened there, no, so there are people who are raising their voice in a public measurable, and it can be create a political view with that. So it can encourage and enter in the parliament topic, so it can create more and more issue in the government sectors. Okay. Next is shortcomings of departmental organization. As against the foregoing merits, the weaknesses of this type of organization are many and varied. These are summarized below. The departmentally managed undertakings are under the control of minister and the political parties to which they belong, and who hardly understand the problems of management of industry and trade. So when it comes with the departmentally management undertaking, political parties taking the key for that business organization, how it will going, how it is taking the part in a social effect, how it is socially affect their business, how people can encourage their business. And some people are like, they are, everyone has their own belief and their different opinions, so they are not thinking about the same product in a same way. Their all needs and wants are different, so product should be unique, their services should be unique with the each person and each member. So it have to be managed by the public enterprise. As the public enterprises are run on the same lines as the other government departments, the business principles necessary for their success are overlooked. In fact, the government forgets that it is running business undertaking and must therefore deal with the public as a businessman rather than a sovereign. So, public enterprises is depend on the government entity which is legally activated by them and controlled by them. So, they have to manage only by themselves how they can control their activities and procedure in a public with a public concern, because their utilities are for public only and by the people, for the people, and of the people. We have already seen it. Although it is the consumers who pay for the goods and services offered, and not the taxpayers. The merging of the revenues of the department in general revenues results in either giving a subsidy to or charging too high a price from the consumer. Profits are likely to be used not for development but for giving tax relief, or losses or money by the taxpayers. So when it comes with the revenue sides, when we see public utilities company, it is less taxable from private. So private companies are paying tax reliefs. They are giving tax reliefs ratio to the customers, to how they can. When we see the, when we are buying something up to this price of, you will get this type of discount, you will relieve your tax. We have all seen this type of business, right? So income is, their taxes are depend on their income, and their income is all about their per capita income, how they spend their day to day activities, how they earn with their efforts and individual efficiency. Government officials who are asked to manage these undertakings generally lack business acumen. They are selected and trained generally for a purpose quite different from running industries and services. They are used to working under a rigid system of set rules, and for every decision they look for a precedent. This causes delay in decision making, which is harmful in the case of business undertaking. So, government officials which are undertaking business wants to train their employees in a that way they are flexible in every concern, they can help the people, they can take the decision in with the public concern, because they are already working for the people, so it is more useful for them to look after the public needs and wants, what type of services they need in their daily lives, right? Under this form of organization, public enterprises very often become synonymous with red tape, delays, inadequate service, and insensitivity to consumer needs. Thus, government departments are traditionally too involved in red tape and routine to permit inefficient conduct of commercial and industrial undertaking. So whenever it comes with the delay of procedure, when government taking any delay with the any project going on, just like we have seen bullet trains, it's delaying, delaying, delaying. But for the end, when elections are coming, all the projects are raising their efficiency. All the projects are going smoothly. They have finished their work through the election period of time, so they can get more and more votes. So government is involving with this activity, and it can be injurious to general public also, but it is a politics interference for the organization and our public utilities. The department organization fails to provide flexibility so essential to effective business operations. Department organization fails because it is limited by the government and controlled by government. They have to only manage by their procedure with the time to time, so they are not that flexible. They have that rigidity in their process. They have to control their process with the decision making by government, and undertaking with their law of activities. They have to consider their law of activity with time over a period of time. Every year they have to sign one contract with the legal activities of government, which is controlled by them, so government can interfere with them. Next is frequent transfers of officers, and the annual nature of financial outlook of government departments run counter to the continuous and long term policy on the part of the business enterprise. So frequent transfer of officer, whenever we see transfer of officer, there are many people, some it can be IS officer, IRS officer. In a civil servant it happens more, because whenever any loyal or honest employee, or any civil servant who is working towards his nation, he's get transfer, or any other thing, he can send to the other area to leave this topic. If he is interfering with the politic issue, so immediately they will transfer him to other sector. Some regions are there, they don't have to focus, but government can shift them from one to another shift, so they don't look out that sector other times, right? Since the officials of the department have to attend to different matters besides the problems of the enterprise placed in their charge, they lack the unity of homogeneity of purpose so essential to efficient working of an industrial undertaking, and so pronounced in private enterprise. So when it comes with the problems, departmental organization can focus with their activities, and they have to manage with the government. So when they focus on their activities, they control by government already. So they have focus with only that activity, with how much they can organize their company with their employees support, how it can be more profitable, how it can serve to the peoples in an efficient way. So it can be helpful for the people only, because public utilities are more of public uses and private utilities are more of profit motive, right? As the acts and decision of the management of public undertakings are ever open to public and parliamentary criticism and questioning, this type of organization provides no scope for initiative and skill. Actually, this has the effect of training officials for giving good answers rather than take quick decisions on important matters. So public utilities are more concerned with the people, so they have to make good decisions, but they are taking for granted for that. They are providing training for them to work effectively manner in an efficient way for making more public uses, but they don't focus on how people can encourage themselves by the public uses, right? So we have seen more and more people going with the private entities, so they can get more money. So whenever we find profit, whenever we want profit, we go with the private sector, and whenever we want security and safety, we'll go with the public sector, right? So this is the difference between both of them. So both of them are equally good at their own place, but it can be there is difference every time. Some of the following things stand in the way of running public enterprise efficiently, namely necessity for obtaining sanctions for expenditure and other matters in every single case. We have seen necessity. Necessity is all about the people who are using in daily basis from the government control. Inability to take out cash from the government account without prior sanction once cash receipts have been put into the account. The inability to take out cash from the government account without prior sanction once cash receipts have been put into that account. Okay, so when we are issuing any check from the government bank, it is we all have seen Harshad Mehta films, right? It is series also and a movie also. So it is BR. He's BR is all about bill receipts, which is more important in banking sector for the issuing of cash at a particular period of time. If you can't issue that in a period of time, you will get penalty, you will get fine, you will go in the jail, right? The application of the accounting and audit procedures, there should be audit for every sector by time to time. It can be 3 months, it can be 6 months, and it can be annually audit, but there have to be audit by government for any sector. Then only it can work effectively and efficiently, because they have the fear of fraudulent, they have the fear of how they are not working effectively with the government, so they can make use of their power also. Purchase of raw materials and stores and the sale of products according to departmental systems. So government sectors are more of producing more and more for the people to use it effective way. The application of rules of promotion on seniority basis, which militates against promotion on merit or taking disciplinary action. So we have seen the legal activities which are related with the organization, either it is public or private, but it is go with the disciplinary manner. So whenever it comes with the step by step, it paperwork, it can't be orally formation. It should be paperwork and legally activated with the norms of government, right? So there is a general rule for everyone. It can be public company, whether it is public company, whether it is private company. So they have to follow them rule, whatever statutory corporation it is or government corporation it is. Public corporation. A public corporation is a corporate body created by the legislature under the separate statute, hence sometimes called statutory corporation, which sets out its powers, purpose, duties, and immunities. It is financially independent and has a clear cut jurisdiction over a specified area or a particular type of industrial or commercial activity. It is administered by board of directors appointed by the government to which it is answerable. So public corporation is all about the not only public limited is not about not always about the government companies. It can be controlled by government, but it is but its directors, board of director, its CEO, whoever higher authority they are giving the responsibility are appointed by the government only. So that's why it is called as public corporation. So their operations, whatever they are carrying in their organization or company, is all about the how much fund government is providing them, how much fund government is expecting them to earn profit, and how much they have to spend on their people also. So there should be rule for everyone and everywhere, right? The leader characteristics of public corporations are summed up as follows. It is a corporate body created by a special law defining its objects, powers, and privileges and prescribing the forms of management and its relationship with government departments and ministries. So, corporate body which is created by special law. There is a law generating with the government which is useful for public also and private entities also. So, there is limitations and relationship between government and the departments is related with the parliament, which is depend on which ministry takes under control this business or organization, and which ministries have managing things which ministry have to manage these things in a sector. It is owned wholly by a state. It has no shareholders in the ordinary sense of the term. So when it comes with the public entities, government is involved there. So it is only controlled by the state government. Central governments are controlling the defense activities, more profitable and international trading, which is more useful. We have seen our uh, foreign ministry which is related with the international trade. So it can be governed by central government, and in a state, small sector which is BMC, TMC, our railway, state railways, which are local trains, these are related with the state governments also. Sometimes railway is also under control with the central board, but when it comes with the monorail, metro rail, it comes under the state government only. The public corporation is the combination of public ownership, public accountability, and business management for the public end. What is public ownership and public accountability? Public ownership is all about the how much share that company is providing to their public, because 51% of shares are mostly usable by public, and 50 only 49% are accountable for private peoples who wants to involve with the company or who wants to buy the shares. Next is public accountability. Public accountability depends on the how public respond to their processes, and how public is reacting with their products and services. And business management for public ends. So management is all about the how public limited companies are depends upon their managing directors. It can be board of directors which are appointed and governed by government, right? So they can have control of that, but they have to follow the rules by state wise. So state government had that control, but central government has the control to rule out the all the company. It is a body corporate and can sue and be sued, enter into contracts and acquire and own property in its own name. So it can be sued and sued. Matlab, they can file a case on a company also if they have any breach of contract in middle of period of time. So if management is not working properly, employees can file a case on that with a legal activity. So they have all the rights to sue and to be sued. Is a all about the legal activity which is taking action in legal manner. So they can file a case with the police stations. So they have that right. Since it is a separate legal entity, the employees of a public corporation are not government servants and are not governed by civil service rule. They are employed and remunerated independently by each public corporation. So it is a separate legal entity. They have to maintain their entity with their legal objectives, legal obligations, their form of law, their following norms, their contracts. If there is any breach of contract, they can file a case. We have seen it. Next is except for appropriations to provide capital or to cover losses, a public corporation is usually independently financed. It obtains funds by borrowing either from the government or in some cases from the public and through revenues derived from the sale of goods and services, and has the authority to use and reuse its revenue. So excess of except for appropriation to provide capital. When it comes to the under public companies or government statutory body corporation, which is legally activated by the organization, so they can reuse their revenue as a, I have told you yesterday's lecture, there is a plugging back of profit part in every company. They have to make it sure they have that plugging back of profit, because in case of there is any loss in the organization, they can pull it out and they can use it as a capital for running their business smoothly and to make sure their business is smoothly and effectively uh, confirm their procedures. It is ordinarily not subject to the budget, accounting and audit law and procedures applicable to government departments. So it's all about the budgets. When government provides some rules and regulations to the organization, they have to follow the procedure regarding the budgets also. Every sector we have seen every year budget of the government budget. It can be they are giving 13% to this financial sector, 12% to the banking sector, 6% to the hospitality sector. So this is the budget they have require with the people and corporations also. So there are many more things in the organization they have to follow with that budget only. So there is a procedure for government. It is generally exempted from most regulatory and prohibitory statutes applicable to expenditure of public funds. Many things are prohibited. I mean, they are banned with the government exposure. So when we go to the defense sector, there is a ban in the information sector. You cannot be like file a right to information case under the defense things. They have no right to tell you anything. They will not tell you anything about their defense activity, because it is their because it is private privacy of our country and our defense activities, right? So there should be exempted sectors also. First is defense, then second is before that there was a RBI also under that sector, but now it's you can write to information file on that. It is in large measure free from parliamentary inquiry into the internal management of the concern as distinct from its policy. It is, however, subject to ministerial control. Large measure free from parliamentary inquiry. Because of that, when political interference is happens with the organization, many companies are goes with the ministerial control. So ministries are under control with the state government, and parliamentary are going with the central government control. So state government and parliamentary are equally responsible for that organization to make it budget wise, make it accountable for the people, to use it more wisely and work more effectively for the people, and taking any charge with the by public side, right? It is not expected to make profit, although it must work efficiently and show good results in the form of surplus, which must not be the result of exploitation. While it must pay its way, a public corporation should function to render service to the public and not with the motive of making profit. So, when it comes to the making profit, mostly public limited companies and public corporation, government sectors are is having more motto of public needs and wants. So they have to fulfill and happiness with the public needs and wants. But in private sector, we have seen motive of profit making only. So when public company is making its motto with the profit making, they are gone with the cost of. They are increasing their cost with the production. We have seen LPG gas fuel production. It is increasing day by day. I don't know what is diesel and petrol price right now. I hope you all get know. LPG gas cylinder prices are increases daily on daily basis also. So it is
Yes,
about
ma'am. Yes,
the
ma'am.
public corporation which is undertaking with the government control, but they have to make charge of that thing in a particular way. So today it was all about the private utilities, public utilities, government corporations, statutory corporations, and parliamentary interference, how political interference affect the business and organization.